Hey everyone, welcome back to New Release Today. My name is Brian Ford, and I'm so excited you're here joining us again. Today we're talking with a new artist who's been making waves. Well, I don't know if new artist is the word because you've been around for a while creating so much amazing music. Maddi Jane, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Hi, guys.
Of course, we're so glad to have you, especially with your new music that's been releasing. It is such a vibe. It is a bop. I've been listening to it for a while, so I jumped at the chance to do this interview. So, for all those watching and wondering who you are, can you give us a brief introduction to who you are and how you got started?
Aw, thank you for listening, first of all. That's so cool. I'm curious, like when you joined my journey and stuff.
I think it was when you teamed up with Songhouse and Soul House. That's where I started finding
Oh,
out
very
listening.
cool.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. Yes. So I am Maddie. I was born and raised in Wheaton, Illinois. I have been making music since I was 11 years old. I was doing covers on YouTube for a long time. I did some covers like Price Tag by Jessie J, Rolling in the Deep. So I kind of got my feet into the industry just doing sessions as a cover artist. And then as I got older, felt like the Lord was calling me to dive deeper into production and making my own music. And it's been such an amazing journey of dependence on Him and just growing a lot deeper with myself as a person and friends and everything. Yeah.
I love that. That's so cool. I was looking back at your story, like you said, at 11 years old, you're sharing these songs and they went viral. Like, what was it like looking back at that and seeing at such a young age the songs you were releasing, the covers had such an impact and were going all over?
Yeah. Um, I think I look back and I'm grateful for what I learned from a technical standpoint about performance and about singing and my voice, and connected me to some amazing people who are still with me on my journey today, saying that they were 11 also when I was 11, and that there's a nostalgic piece that listening to the covers brings, which is incredible. But I'm also really grateful that, you know, I didn't get signed at such a young age and I didn't continue down a path of just being like in this commercial box, like all through my preteens, because that was where everything was headed. And I really feel like the Lord like stretched his hand out and kind of just like withheld certain things so that I could have a moment to figure out who I was. So I'm really grateful for his timing amidst everything. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, I love that. Especially like as an indie artist, it gives you so much more creativity and freedom to really find who you are instead of being
Oh,
told music's this way. You get to actually learn and see how God's growing you individually, which is so cool.
totally. And even just from a timeline standpoint, like I feel like I was going through a lot of mental health stuff at the time as well. And so just not having to be on a release schedule or push through certain moments when I wasn't feeling up to it was like really helpful as well.
Definitely, I love that. And you've recently released a song which is making waves all over called Hello. Can you tell us about this song?
Yeah. So, Hello is kind of this fusion of pop and worship, and it's a love song to the Lord. And it's basically just saying, hey, thank you for keeping me close to you for my entire life. Um, though there were struggles and serious times of questioning or, wondering, I always felt like he was a safe space to process those things. So I'm just really grateful that I never really did need goodbye because he was so powerful and so great and real to me that he had me at hello. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. And the song, like the message is so good. Plus, it's such a summer anthem for all those who are watching this. Listen to the song, you'll see why. Like all your music, I love how creative it is. There's so many different styles of it. Listening back to, you've released a few albums already too, and just each one is different. Each one's unique. Each one has your voice shining so good. What's it like looking back at all the music projects you've done of all the varieties?
Thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Okay, so I did do an album I did an album of like covers when I was a preteen. And then I did an album in 2023, which was like the heart of me discovering how to produce my own music and how to send my own vocal stems. And it was very exploratory. I can't say that I'm like, yeah, all of that is like, I'm super stoked on still because I'm not. But it taught me so much about like the process start to finish that previously other people were doing for me. And then that was the moment where I was like involved in everything. So now when I step into a studio, I know exactly like what's going on, which is really cool.
That's cool
Mhm.
indeed. Yes. I love when artists can really just learn that out, especially there's no rush in music that everything has to be a hit. It's so cool seeing the journey, the growth, and just how God uses it all, especially the connections. It's so cool how God does that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's interesting because like as an artist, there's other people out there who are like, "Oh, that was my favorite song. Like that's the one that I have on my playlist every day." And I'm like, "Oh, wow." Music is one of those things where like you just have to let go and just give it to God and see what he does with it.
Very much so, yeah. And speaking of giving it
Mhm.
to God and seeing what he does with it, you were on a show called The Voice recently. Well, a few years back, which incredible story there. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it was last year.
Okay.
Um, so that came at a time in my life where I was like, okay, Jesus, what is the next wave for me, you know? And I even felt like just a little bit discouraged about music and all those things. And I had gotten cast on season 24 of The Voice and was super excited about that. And then they cut me from season 24 and I was like, seriously? Like it would have been better if I like didn't get my hopes up at all, right? And then that was an amazing moment where I felt like Jesus was like, would you keep doing music even if I didn't give you this like fresh breath or anything? And so I had to like wrestle with that and make the decision to keep going and keep trying to find my adult fan base, like evolving from like that child fan base and stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep going no matter what. And then they called back and were like, could she come out for season 25 and like skip most of the rounds of auditions? And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But at the time, I didn't, I didn't like every single week, I would think, okay, this is the week I'm probably gonna get off the show. Like, it's probably the end of the road. And every single week, Jesus would just come through and fill me and give me the strength and give me the passion and energy to perform and make it through and made it to the semifinals. And I just feel like he was so kind and gracious and just speaking so many things over me during that time of like, I've seen your whole journey. I haven't given up on you. There's so much more for you here. You know, age is not the end all be all. Because in this industry, I'm like, God, you know, I'm going to get married. I'm turning 27 soon. Like, people are peaking at like 22 or 23. And God's just like, you need to keep going. This is what I'm saying over you. So it was very encouraging just from a personal standpoint. And then also to get to work and get feedback from Megan Trainor and Chance the Rapper and people like that was really valuable as well.
I love that. Wow. It's so cool how God's just been so intentional with your story, even every season. Like, you've been doing music for so long, so not sure if it's a new artist, but you're definitely one of the artists on the rise. Like, I was talking to someone recently and they
Mm.
brought up your name, and I was like, yes, I know who she is. She's killing it.
Oh,
So, God is just so intentional in that, and it's incredible to see you continue to grow like that.
thank you. Thank you so much. And it's really amazing in entering Christian music to see how many outlets and platforms there are like yours that are passionate about sharing the gospel through art and just meeting people where they're at. So I'm really grateful to be connected to you guys.
Thank you. Of course, we love working with artists like you, promoting you guys, just being a light that can People can see you, come to your music, and find it. Speaking of which, everyone watching this, follow Maddie on all socials, listen to her songs. You will not be disappointed. There's so much amazing stuff, and there's so much new stuff coming that we're going to talk about soon. But I do want to dive into this real quick because I found you from Songhouse, Soul House, which I've been a huge fan of them for years now. And seeing you join them, that's how I first was exposed to your music. What was that experience like?
Yeah, Tyler is such an innovative, determined, creative entrepreneur of a person. Like he is incredible, and I had been a fan from them on Instagram for a while as well. And so after I went on The Voice, I did a concert in Nashville called the Franklin Summer Bash. And so I was flown out there for that. And I told my manager, who's one of my best friends, I met her through church, but I told her, it would be so cool. We're going to be in Nashville. Could you reach out to Songhouse and see if they have any events coming up? And so she reached out, and Tyler recognized me from YouTube days because he did YouTube back then as well. So he was like, "Oh, no way. Like, she's still doing music. That's so cool. Let's connect." And yeah, they basically, for anyone out there who's looking to develop their songwriting skills or is close to the Nashville area, they do put on camps where you're just connected to strangers in groups of like 4 or 5, and they have structure around it, and you have prompts of different songs to write. And then you just learn about songwriting and then perform a little song at the end of everything. So basically, Almighty, the first worship song that I publicly put out, I met the producers and the writers at this Songhouse camp. So it was just a divine connection for sure. And yeah, I was very encouraged by like the freshness that they brought to the Christian space, like sonically in my head.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah, they're definitely a breath of
Mhm.
fresh air that really just, especially like
Yeah.
around the Christian music community with their collaboration with Maverick and the new
Yeah.
artists like you. I love seeing it. It's just so cool to see that, especially that much talent being used in Christian music to glorify God. So
Hmm. Exactly. Hmm.
definitely, yes. We are getting closer to the end of the interview. We have a few questions left, though. One of them we touched on a little bit, and that is congratulations, you're engaged, you're getting married soon. What's that like in this season? I'm sure all the excitement, all the trust in God with it. What are you feeling?
Hmm. Yeah, thank you. Yes. So I met my fiance 3 years back at a writer's camp for another Christian label here in Los Angeles.
Mm,
And he was brought to the camp because he's actually a producer and musician himself. And he was doing kind of like alternative pop rock stuff. And I was brought to the camp for pop stuff. So our relationship really originated in making music and cheering each other on to finish these tracks and, you know, present it to this record label we were working for. So it's been really cool to see how God not only brought me a friend and a companion to do life with, but also someone who has a passion for the music industry in the same way that I do, and has a passion to help develop other artists and produce for other artists. And so, a dream that we have together is to continue this production company idea that we have to make music for other artists as well. So, yeah, I always prayed that if I was going to get married, it would be because I would be more of an asset to God's kingdom with the other person
mm.
more than being single. And that's exactly how it feels. So, super grateful for him and really excited for what Nashville holds for us. We actually decided to move to Nashville like a week after we get married, basically. So we're in California right now, but we really feel God's calling us there. So just gonna start a new life, see what he has for us.
Wow, I love that. You guys look amazing together, and I'm just so excited for you guys. I love love, so when I heard about that, I had to bring it up. And congratulations on moving to Nashville soon, then too. That's where I'm from, so I love the place.
Amazing. Well, if you have any recommendations, let me know. We're gonna be in the Franklin Brentwood area.
Nice, definitely will do. And before we close
Yeah.
our interview, like for people watching who would love Hello, they're listening to your music, they're all for it. What can you tell us is coming up?
Yes. Well, I have been teasing a song on Instagram called Good Plans recently that I made in the same session as Hello, just effortlessly. It's more of a stripped worship song, it's a ballad, and that is going to be coming out pretty shortly, as well as just compiling all of the worship songs that I've done onto one EP and having that in a concise project for everybody at the end of the summer. So, yeah.
Awesome. We're excited and looking forward to that. And our last question, real quick to you. Thank you again for taking the time
Mhm.
for this interview. We love getting to talk with you, hear your story. And again, everyone, follow Maddi, listen to her music. It is worth it. But how can we be praying for you?
That's such an amazing question. Um, I think you can just be praying that I really am able to be present and focus on getting married and moving. Because I think as musicians, there's always this pressure to think about what's next, what's after, what's next year, all these things. And I really don't want to miss this moment right now. Um, so yeah, just that I won't get caught up in all of the hustle and just like see like the gift that this is.
Definitely. Well, we'll be praying for you with that season. It's exciting what God's doing, and we're so excited to cheer you on, NRT. We have your back. So we love what you're doing.
Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you. This was so encouraging.
Of course. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too.